All right, hey team, what's going on? We're gonna do some artwork this morning, so give me a minute to check in and make sure that everything's coming through clearly. Buttons pressing here. It takes me a few moments just to get up and running because I'm doing the social media posts, and we don't get a link to the thing until we actually go live. So instead of having just a blank, starting soon screen, I kind of yammer at you guys like this while I press all those buttons. Setting my volume here and grabbing the link. It'll just take a moment for me to finish the social media posts, but I'll try to regale you with my background story while I do so. And if you're watching this in the future, you can skip ahead a minute and we'll be done with all of that and actually into the artwork that we're doing today, which is we're creating a Wraith token today. Here, I'll adjust the screen for you guys here real quick so you can take a look at the artwork that we're currently working on while I'm pressing some buttons here. But yeah, so my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games and I illustrate them. I publish them online, and I've been creating content for Dungeons and Dragons, publishing on DMsGuild since 2018. I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I started playing D&D back in 1987. So I haven't published an adventure yet, and I haven't published anything for Eberron, so let's publish an Eberron adventure. We're going to call it, like you can see here on the book cover, Crystals of Mabar. Mabar is the plane of undeath in Eberron, and manifest zones are punching holes through reality and bringing them together so that you can experience one plane of existence while you're on your normal plane of Eberron. And Mabar, the plane of undeath, necromancers have created such a powerful manifest zone that it's actually opening a portal to the plane of Mabar. That is their objective. They're performing a ritual to open that portal, and all sorts of undead are being created as a result of it. So we're working on a Wraith, which is an incorporeal undead. They in this adventure, there is a cemetery that was buried and forgotten in the Carnwood of Carnath on the continent of Corvair on the Eberron campaign setting, famous for its Mabaran undead manifest zones, which is why the nation of Carnath uses undead for soldiers in conflict. And so some ambitious necromancers have gotten a hold of an artifact that will allow them to create a manifest zone and permanize it so that it becomes a portal through. Well, they don't necessarily know it's going to be a portal going through to the plane of Mabar, but they do know that it's powerful enough to terraform the environment of the Carnwood where the ritual is being held. And this terraforming, it converts the soil, the natural soil that we have, into this this coffee crystal sort of grit, coffee grounds sort of grit of these tiny little crystals that can be used to power necromancy spells and darkness rituals. And the manifest zone occupies a 5-mile diameter, so it's huge. And all the soil is being converted into expensive material components that can just literally be shoveled off of the ground and dumped into money bags if you have somebody that wants to purchase material components to help make necromancy spells easy, i.e. a whole bunch of other necromancers out there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go with white. And the next over. So we have whites over here. And then we're creating this Wraith here. And then we'll have a UVW. Vulpina Creeper should actually be left of white. That's awesome. All right, well, we're gonna put a big circle on that guy there. That's something that we should really be paying attention to. All right, well, who said we were perfect? I go through these documents and I look at each page all the time while we're actually painting, And I'm just adjusting my screen here. And yeah, occasionally I find errors. So this is like a third check for me just to find stuff. And hey, what's going on, Defected? So yeah, Vulpina comes before Wraith. Originally this was a yellow creeper. And I realized, you know what? You know what's another color like yellow? Green. And what's green? The Vulpina fungus that grows throughout the manifest zone where the coffee crystals are growing like dirt. So I just decided to change it to Vulpina and modify some of the stats regarding it to poison people instead of being psychic damage. But the end result is the same, creating a bloated undead zombie that will attack people in defense of the creeper. And when it bursts, there's unique types of undead in this adventure, and one of them we're calling a bloater or a freshly dead. And the bloater is a corpse that's been infested with this Vulpina Litharia, this fungus, this viridescent glowing green fungus that grows in the manifest zone. It's the primary source of light in the outdoor adventure portion of the manifest zone, and it grows on the ground, so it has like this Big Trouble Little China underlighting sort of effect going on that has this green radiance, and then there's this thick fog throughout the manifest zone that blocks the sun so that everything can grow, or I guess, I don't know. If you're dead, you don't really grow. We'll say grow, so that the plants and the materials inside of the manifest zone continue to grow without being tainted by sunlight. There we go. I'm just messing around with. I'm going to do layers of color and, or rather, black to build up the smokiness, and then I'll eventually blend this line art into the piece. Right now, I'm just making sure that I've properly saturated all of the space inside of the line art, so that when I start erasing or blending it into the smoke, it'll retain it. It's the shape that I know that I want. It's part of the process. So these undead that manifest in the Mabaran zone, they the bloater fresh dead get infected with this Vulpina, and the Vulpina, when you step into its space, it acts like stinking cloud. It poisons you. You have to make a Constitution saving throw, and if you fail the saving throw, you lose your actions. You can move, but you lose your action. So basically, if you fail your saving throw and stepping into that stuff, the only thing you can do for the rest of the round is keep walking, one way or another, and then you're done. So it's only a DC 13, but if you're periodically making checks, occasionally you'll fail, and it just during combat, it's just a fun little obstacle to have running around inside of the manifest, messing around with people. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. We're going to come through and fix the hands when we're done with all the lighting, because I'm still not happy with them. But I'm happy with how this is coming along. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to add on another layer after this to start messing around with the lighting a little bit more. Hey, what's up? This guy specializes in pen and paper perspective drawings. I thought I understood perspective. I do not. You talking about me? There's no way. You got to be talking about somebody. Let's get rid of that. And then let's go. Yeah, let's make another layer. And we're going to zoom in and let's see about creating stuff inside the space. That's what I figured. Oh, you were leading with the preposition of it all. I didn't have context. Yeah, there's some really, really great YouTube channels out there for art production and stuff. I aspire to be one of them, but alas, if I am, it hasn't happened yet. Oh, did you post it up in the Discord for those that want to find the link, my Discord is linked down below. Jump on through and go to the wherever it is that you put it. I haven't seen it yet. Oh. Hola y buenos dias. The guy specializes in pens. Oh, is that the name of his channel? Hola buenos dias? I thought you were just, offering salutations. That's funny. That's hilarious. What a channel name. What a name. That's crazy. Let's actually, no, let's not do that. Let's leave, let's leave that rim open. So we're going to go to there. And then we're going to smudge, and I'm going to blend and smudge upward. I'm going to make that a separate layer. I am glad to acknowledge that you weren't talking about me, that my instincts were correct. That means I'm still humble. Important. Hey, what's up? Yeah, please do. Of course, please do. Blend that up. I want to have another layer like this. I'm just working with different densities and different opacities of black. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I like this. I like how this is coming along. What I want to do is, for context, I want to have a green haze behind them because it's an incorporeal creature. There's a chance of haze poking through like in the eyes and stuff like that. So I want to, this is where we're at. I want to grab a poison cloud color. Here's the cemetery in the manifest zone and a rogue NPC character hiding from Emerald Claw guards. But I want to grab this green color. This one here, that's the brightest. I want to grab that color. I like this painting. Every time I come back to this one, I still like it. Yeah, good stuff. Gene Bond. Thank you. Fantastic. Let's see. Wraith background. Click here. Did my music stop again? Yeah, this happens every now and again that the autoplay function on Epidemic doesn't work. But yeah, I wanted to add in a foggy back color. Because this is what it's like throughout the manifest zone. Hey, what's going on, Fox? It's good to see you, my guy. So it's Thursday here in the real world, in real time, the 13th of November, and so Monday through Fridays in the morning I do artwork like this, and then on Mondays and Thursday nights, like tonight, I do game and campaign design, and I will continue with the Spelljammer Mecha Kaiju campaign that we've been building online, and we're going to start refining a list of random creatures that can happen upon the settlement as a potential threat on the weekly basis. When the campaign runs, we'll have adventures of the week that will actually take, well, we'll call them adventures of the month. A Bastion turn is 1 week long, and but each Bastion turn I intend on having process over the course of four game sessions. Like if I have 4-hour games, then there'd be 16 hours spent inside that Bastion turn or that week in the real world, or in game. And so there's 4 different sessions, and like when I'm doing Mega Dungeon Hex Crawly sort of high combat frequency sessions, we can get through 20 rounds of combat plus exploration during that session. So I can have when we build out the actual campaign, we start running it on a week by week Monster of the Week episode sort of thing. We can have a sequence of various episodes where like one episode we'll spend on the actual Bastion turn itself, updating what NPCs do and like crafting items and stuff like that. And then deciding what our next what the next orders are that we're going to want to issue to them, and like how do we want to spend our resources, and that Civilization 4X style of gameplay that the Bastion campaign system we developed allows for. And then wherever then we have the random events that happen each Bastion turn. There's an event that you roll to see what flavors all of the adventures and activities that'll happen during that Bastion turn. And then we'll find where are the complications that arose as a result of the ability checks that we made for updating our Bastions and their turns, and whatever those complications are, we then decide which of those complications do we want to pursue as an adventure next. And as a DM, my prep work is to be 1 turn or 2 ahead of the team, so that I'll know what all the different, like what the different themes and flavors will be, and or rather, what the themes and flavors are, and what the possible complications are. And as the DM rolls out the results of how the week went, I'll know what complications will already arise. That's the I'll allow the players to roll the dice on the complication table, but it'll be for like 2 weeks from now. So you'll like roll 13 and you won't see that come through until later, but you'll be able to look at the table with me, so you'll know what's coming down the pipe. So you'll have that preview, that foreshadowing, and start and potentially start building a narrative around that. But while resolving this week, so like that's what's coming down the pipe, and right now we're just resolving the complications from last week. And when we have those resolved, we already know what's coming narratively, so that gets locked down, and now we find our results of that, and then I'll surprise you with what the complications are. But we'll all know what the upcoming event is, but I'll be prepping the complications that arise as a result of what you do. And there's only 6 types of ability checks that you can make in the Bastion system. So I just have to have, depending on what actions you take, will either succeed or fail at that sort of action. Whether you have like 5 crafting checks or only 1 crafting check, it has the same theme of, if crafting goes wrong this week, here's what arises as a result of that. So that's the idea. So it should be pretty easy for me to manage. That's how I've been running my other Spelljammer Eberron campaign for the past year, using that progressive format. I like it, but I want to blend in Spelljammer and the Mecha Kaiju stuff to make an XCOM style game, like we've been building on Mondays and Thursday nights, to basically play test and demonstrate that style of game. So I can be like, if you want an interesting step in between the BX style of dungeon crawl play and the more modern 5e style, you can have an episode. You can build an episodic adventure campaign with Monster of the Week style narrative that is socioeconomically robust and allows for a lot of political intrigue and negotiations if that's what your team wants to do. If you want to de-emphasize combat, you can lean into the geopolitics and warfare of the system instead of individual character adventuring, unless you want your characters to go spelunk something. So by blending in the 5e Spelljammer combat mechanics that we have for tactical combat and the geopolitical, over a 4-week period of time, we can blend in skirmishes, outright battles, dungeon delving, political intrigue, and then it's always up to the players to insert character backstories and stuff like that. And if they can sculpt their character's background and evolving history and their personality and role playing, their objectives and morals and all that stuff, if you can find how those can fit into how the campaign is progressing, then you can start wrapping your character into the environment around you to become integral to the storyline. My personal philosophy about character backgrounds and character progression and story is, as a DM, I'm creating the world, and it's up to the players to create the story. So if they have a theme, like they have this idea about their character being this pirate, and sure, we're going to, as a result, probably play in a water campaign to accommodate that pirate fantasy. Of course, let's make it relevant. But the specifics about, like, you're the Dread Pirate Roberts and all that other crap, that's on you. That you figure that stuff out and you find a way for it to make sense in the game world that I'm able to produce. And that's how you can have your character. You can then start collaborating and taking ownership in that. So a more formal campaign with like ongoing structure like that, it's really good to be able to actually like not start off with a character backstory or have an idea of a backstory and see how it can evolve into the theme of what the campaign becomes. And if you want to develop your character to be this pirate, then you're going to angle the party as a player. You're going to recommend and prefer adventures that allow you to lean into that piracy idea. If you've got another character that wants to get involved with like Kuo-toa or something like that, then that player is going to want to try to finesse the adventures into being involved with Kuo-toa. But if you can find a way to like gain Kuo-toa, I'll probably have to put Kuo-toa somewhere in the world just to not be a dick as a DM, so that your Kuo-toa fantasy has the opportunity of being fulfilled. But if you both want to have a pirate adventure involving Kuo-toa where you're gaining some sort of influence with that species, then here's the things that are going on. How do you see that playing in? And then lean into it and figure it out yourself. I'm going to paint over the eyes and then drop them in separately again later. That's a DM philosophy that allows me to focus on the world. And if you start injecting your own character storyline into what makes sense with what I'm presenting, then I can create a feedback loop with you of this is what you're leaning into, so I'm going to, as a DM, lean into that or sculpt for, future actions. And when you have multiple that's why I don't like large teams, because it allows everyone to get a buy-in on how can we shape in the direction of where the campaign is going right now, so that it maximizes what we're interested in doing. So how would I express that as like a label? Like, it's not true sandbox. Like, true sandbox is what's in that direction, let's randomly roll and find out and make something of it. Like, it has very much those vibes, but this instead of exploring hexes, you're kind of exploring space or time. You're exploring like what happens next, what's the fallout and result of taking this action, which is what a lot of hex crawl type of stuff is about. But the action is like, let's go over that hill, and now we're located at that hill. This is the crawl is more of like a community crawl sort of thing, where we're making decisions for what the community is doing, and that creates opportunities for adventure that either progress or progress the goal itself or mitigate damage control and stuff like that for the community as a result of failing. Hey, what's up? Chat disconnected. Please wait while we reconnect you. Uh-oh. Huh. Well, I'll just stay over here on the sideboard and see if it reconnects. Do I have a... There's a refresh option. There we go. I'm learning my tools. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, but I'm having fun. So, cheers. Yeah, okay, so we were talking about the Vulpina infecting corpses. I kind of got on a tangent there. So the when somebody gets infected, or when a corpse gets infected, either way, with this poison gas fungus, when they die, it grows inside of them and it causes their body to bloat. And then when you attack them, if you hit them with a piercing or slashing weapon, they explode in a burst like a balloon, and they splatter this fungus everywhere around them into a 15-foot area. It basically creates a hazard zone as a result of popping them as a balloon. So the Vulpina creeper is a pseudosentient undead plant that produces Vulpina, and when it infects a target, it basically takes control of it as a zombie, and it then tries to fetch more people to it, or to carry the fungus to another area, and then wherever there's a splatter of Vulpina Theurgy from popping a bloater, it could spawn another Vulpina creeper. Which is fun. Do I like that? No, I don't feel like that. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna keep this. We're gonna get rid of that. So let's fill this in here. I want the billowing background to fade out into gray, so adding more dark to it as we go further down doesn't make any sense. I do want to darken the armor though, so that does make sense. So I'm going to bleed off the darkness here around the armor suit so that I can make it stand out a little bit. I'm going to drop this in. So far, so good. I like this so far. I think this is really fun. I was looking at having a red layer for the armor itself. No, that's the wrong one. Is that it? No, that's not it. Oh, where did it go? There it is. No, is that it? Huh. I had a red around here somewhere at some point. Huh. Well, I'm confused. Anyway, Bob's my uncle. I had red armor at some point. I guess I accidentally destroyed it. But I had red on this armor here. So what I'll do for highlights is red from the armor. There, red armor. I'll say it one more time. Where are you at? Here. Let's grab. Actually, let's grab this one, and then let's make our red right now. Drop this down here like that. Let's see if I end up liking this. I'll definitely have to get rid of the cape outline to blend that in. Yeah, let's see how this goes. So we're gonna leave that like that for now. And let's see. Oh, interesting. Let's see. All right, maybe we'll do that. I'm going to make a new layer here and there, put an ink blot there so I have it for reference. There we go. Okay, back at it. I kind of like this. I don't do this. I don't know what the style is that I'm doing, but normally I don't do this weird fill-in outline sort of thing. But it's an incorporeal creature. It has like this hazy smokiness to it naturally, so I don't have to be super precise and clean with my lines. I can blend them in to create more of a smoky effect. So. And if I don't like this, I can get rid of it. But we're kind of just exploring and playing a little bit right now, just to see what we can produce and what's available and what kind of a result can we create. We're making stuff up. We're kind of playing jazz a little bit with the art. So the fun thing about those bloated undead is the swarm mechanics that we use is a dexterity saving throw, and if you get caught, if you fail the save, if you succeed the save, you don't get caught up with them. They don't overtake you, and you take a little bit of damage. If you fail your saving throw, you take full damage, and you get grappled. And if you're swarmed by a bunch of bloated undead that are full of the Vapina stuff, if you then fail your Constitution saving throw against them, if you pop any of them, they splatter Vapina all over everything, and you're still caught up with them in a swarm. You then have to make a saving throw against the bursted Vapina, and if you fail, you can't take an action, so you can't break free of the grapple, so you can't get away. So you then have disadvantage on your next dexterity saving throw, and then potentially keeps you locked down and taking damage at that location until your friends can get you free. So they're all very low CR undead. They're very easily killed on their own, like 15, 20 hit points apiece. Not very intimidating, but when there's a swarm of them, and they cause damage like it's a saving throw. It's a roaming hazard is how we describe it. It's a mobile hazard that if you get in physical contact with it, that's when you make your dexterity or strength saving throw as basically saving against a trap that you've sprung, taking X amount of damage if you fail, or twice that amount, or half that amount if you succeed. So just like a normal trap. So most of the unless they're like specific higher threat creatures, like a high CR creature, that'll have individual attacks and stuff. But like your 7th to 8th level characters, and you're fighting stuff that like a 3rd level character should fight. So in a swarm of these 3rd level monsters that you're facing, if you add them all together, it upgrades to a 7th level threat as a trap, and you're just constantly, when you're running around inside the manifest zone, you're always at risk of stumbling into just a roaming band of undead that then start making you make saving throws. So ironically, at 7th and 8th level, that's when the monk gets evasion, and of course the rogue already has evasion themselves starting at 2nd level. So the dexterity mobile characters are the ones that actually fare well the best against these hazards, because they don't make attack rolls against your armor class. You're making dexterity saves to reduce damage. And so evasion gives you the ability to ignore all damage if you succeed on your save, and half damage if you fail. So even if they grapple you, you're not taking as much damage as, like, say, the wizard is going to if they get caught out. So positioning becomes a priority. Maintaining distance becomes a priority. There's high motivation to use area of effect to be able to damage, since they clump up to create the mob. AOE is highly effective against them. So your full casters, like your cleric with spirit guardians, for instance, gets to shine. It becomes a really good use of that. Spike growth from the druid becomes super useful. Fireball or choose your favorite flavor from the wizard. AOE becomes super useful. But these are all just ways to either that, or your team is automatically going to take damage every round that you're in contact with these things, unless you're the rogue or the monk. So the rogue and the monk can be tanking these tanking these mobs, because they can avoid, if they can succeed the save, they can avoid all the damage. Instead, the fighter can be hauling people out of getting caught if they get caught, keeping distance away from the mobs, while the rogue and the monk kite them and get them, lead them on so that they have a goaded target. The fighter can hem around at the edges and start whittling down the horde themselves. Anyway, I like this. This is looking really cool. I'm going to drop this in here like that. I might end up fading this layer a little bit and then stacking over it again. Arr! Like that. How much time do we have left? I got about 45 minutes left. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I've got about 45 minutes left. Maybe we'll probably get this done today. And then we'll pick. We have 7 tokens. After this one, we have 6 more tokens that we need to do. And I suspect the Ultra Loth will take a number of days. But I think for the most part, these can take 2, at most 3 sessions, or 2 or 3 hours, basically 2 or 3 sessions, hour and a half per session, so 3 or 4 some odd hours. That's probably going to be how it turns out, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. So we'll get 2 of these tokens done a week. And then I've got 7 of them to do after this one. So that'll be 3 weeks of us working on the tokens. And during that 3-week period of time, I'll definitely have finished the rest of the. I'm working on a diagram and just another illustration. Those will definitely be done, and then I'll be integrating the map key. Maybe I'll do a session with you guys of showing how I'm breaking apart the map into icons and symbols on the page, like for the map key. I'll be working on, as soon as I finish the current illustration, I'll have the door diagram to complete. Once the door diagram is complete, then I'll be doing the map key. Pages, each words difficult right now. Don't know why. I'm going to take little 5-foot squares, little single squares off of the maps that we have that have the feature or terrain that I want to label, and so we'll extract that as a single square and put it alongside the map like a key. All these different things of labeling what they are, and then if they impose a condition or modify a battlefield, I have icons for the battlefield. Like if you get into the water, it's poisoned, so we have a poisoned icon next to the water icon that says tainted water. That'd be the label. And like door, like when you come across a house, like here's a door, so this is what the door icon is. Like these are walls. This is blood splatter. Blah blah blah. Just basically, we have a column to fill up alongside each of the maps in the adventure, and in that space we can put all these labels to clearly define all the things that we're doing. Was that clumsy enough? Holy shit! And once we complete that, then I start stringing up all the hypertext to have everything, because it's a PDF. It'll navigate around like anytime there's a the party's attacked by 2 wraiths, and then Wraith is in bold, and then if you click Wraith, it'll take you literally to this location right here, and then you can read what the Wraith is. And and then you're on this page, you got to get back to where you were. So like if we're down here, if like this is where you encounter the Wraith, you'll click that button. That'll take you to the map at the beginning of the event, at the beginning of that section. And then if like you're in room 5 encountering 2 Wraiths, you'll see room 5 on the map. And if you click room 5, that'll take you back to the page where the Wraith was on. Some Adobe Acrobat programs, you can click the back button and it'll take you back to the last page that you're on before you click through the hyperlink. But this is a way that you can navigate your way there if you don't have that kind of an app. So, because I think that costs money to be able to do that, and not everyone is willing to spend money for that convenience. So I need to have a document that will allow you to navigate around to find the information that you need when you need it, but also to make it easy for you to get back to where you were before you went referencing. You see? So I had to build out that component. It's important to do that. So it'll take a little while for me to string that stuff up, but I can typically string up a book within a week. So if all the timing goes well, and then once the maps are done, I drop the maps into the book, and then we hyperlink. All the locations are hyperlinked destinations inside of the adventure, and then we string up the actual maps themselves with a transparent grid that we overlay over the map. And then when you click on the thing, when you click on a room, you'll be actually clicking on a transparent hyperlink mesh that wherever it is that you're clicking on the map will take you to the room that describes that image that you're looking at. I'll show you guys when I get to it. I'll show you guys. Well, I'll make a session out of it. And of course, I use Microsoft Word for my editing programs, and I found out recently I was concerned about the file size of this once I start integrating the artwork into the pages for the PDF production. But I learned that I can create a separate folder on my drive and put all the artwork into that folder, so that when I open the Word document, it'll have a bunch of empty frames. It will then fetch all the images from that folder and hyperlink them into the document, instead of me actually having to import and keep them in the document as part of the document. I can just reference them on my computer to automatically load whenever I open the document. And then when I actually convert the document into a PDF, then all that artwork gets fused to the text and all the hyperlinking and stuff. And so I don't have to I was concerned about having to put all of this artwork into the 100 pages worth of adventure that we have. Like and it's this 16 by 9 format. So this is like a legal sheet of paper, like 17 17 by 11. That's the page size that we have here. It's technically, you could print these pages on a legal sheet. It's because it's 18. It's 17 by 11. So this is a legal sheet, and but it also fits the 16 by 9 format here digitally. So again, for those that aren't indoctrinated, like, you can see the full on a full screen here, and each column is also 16 by 9. So it's a crazy, awesome, perfect format for PDFs. If I'm willing to let, like, you can see here, like the top edge of the page is chopped off in this view. So I mean, that's Photoshop for you, but it fits fantastic. I've done multiple tests with it on devices, and it works great. So I'm thrilled with that. What the hell was I talking about? Hey, just realized a couple days ago I am paying for Microsoft 365. I thought I turned that off months ago. Holy Hannah. That's crazy. Oh yeah, Microsoft Word. So I learned how to do this stuff in Word. It converts things into PDFs. It's actually an incredibly agile editing program. It's not as fancy as Adobe InDesign, for example, but everything I ever imagined to do with a PDF, I can do through Microsoft Word, and I just have a free version of it. Super inexpensive. So that is my go-to for page layouts, and I'm really used to using it in general, just from being American and in a school system. I used Microsoft Word a ton in the 90s and early 2000s. So it's something I'm used to, so I continue to use it. I don't have to purchase any other editing program. So when I demonstrate what the construction of the scaffold, the hyperlink mesh, obviously it'll be in Microsoft Word, but I'm sure InDesign is perfectly capable of doing that as well. It probably does that by default. So that hyperlinking and stuff. But I'll show you guys the mesh. That's really fun, and how the document navigates. Anyway, I've never made an adventure before, so I've really been looking forward to creating this PDF with this hyperlink mesh and being able to navigate like that. It's why I wanted to make a large adventure with multiple pages, because I could create these neat meshworks that I can navigate the characters, or I can navigate the DM around to make it a helpful product. I just think that's a lot of fun. I'm going to fill this in a little bit. Yeah, we'll just do like that, and then I'm going to fill in the arms separately. Bye. Hey, what's going on? It's been about a year getting really good with Excel. Now I'm not. You only keep what you use, right? Your body and your mind are constantly molding themselves around efficiency towards what you're doing currently. We create habits out of activities, and addictions are habits we don't know that we unintentionally cultivated for ourselves. I like how this is coming along. Yeah, I really, really like this. This is a lot of fun. I like this. And then we'll like that. in. I don't know. Maybe these thorns are creating a unintentional regality. Like this isn't some sort of regal knight or anything. I mean, some of them were royalty, but the majority of them. Well, you know what? Honestly, it's not such a bad idea. Yeah. Okay. I was considering like, is this crown? Does this look too much like a crown? Is it misleading to the stature of the soldiers that got turned into wraiths? But they're all. They were all officers, and most officers would be noble born, unless they were, exceptional merits. But there was no war at the time, so it would largely be nobility. So I think I'm okay with it. So what's up? I've done a fairly decent job at redirecting my habits to at least be more productive, not without fail. Anytime I'm feeling playing a game, I just start drawing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I fall into, if I allow myself to fall into a piece, into a piece of work that I'm, art that I'm arting, yeah, I can disappear for hours. I just have to allow myself to fall into that space. And if I'm unwilling to fall in that space and I'm feeling distracted, it's largely if I'm a demotivation like that means that I'm being intimidated by something. I'm gonna grab an off color here to push that up like that. You have to be willing to ask the questions about like why is this hurting? Why am I trying to? What am I avoiding or what am I masking over? That's like, why am I doom scrolling right now? Why do I want to pick up a controller instead of a paintbrush? It's the why. It doesn't want to. If it's addictive behavior, if it's unconscious behavior, if it's coping behavior, it doesn't want to share itself with you. You have to pry into the question and make your heart give you an answer about like what is causing this, so that when you have that urge to eat more than you wanted to or throw up, or whatever. You got to get really curious really fast about where that's coming from and why is it there, and what is it actually asking for to have an opportunity to short circuit it and get around it. And also being aware of how you feel during the experience. Like if you're feeling disconnected and that this is some sort of an escape mechanism, a coping mechanism, then understanding that's what your body is attempting to do helps keep you from letting the negative motion itself get fed. It's like if you have an addictive behavior that's associated with sadness, when you're sad, you'll participate in that activity, and when you participate in that activity, it will make you sad. So it's a positive feedback loop leading you to a negative conclusion. But you have to be aware that it's happening inside of yourself and get curious about, why does this make me sad? Or when I'm sad, why do I do this? Like a much easier cause and effect would be, I've been eating a lot lately, and it's because I haven't been warming my home. I normally have a bunch of firewood and I'm burning wood fire all the time, but this year I decided to trim back on my lumber expenses And as a result of it, I hadn't compensated for how cold my apartment gets as a result of that. So now I'm having to recalibrate the temperature that I keep the apartment at different hours and stuff. Like, that's a cause and effect. And then I have to adjust the behavior and actually tend to what the actual problem is. The problem isn't that I have no firewood. The problem is that I'm not heating my home, which the firewood would do. Anyway, ramble on. I'm probably going to end up getting rid of the spikes. I'm going to leave them be right now because it'd be too much of a pain in the ass to disassemble them. But I suspect when I merge this all down to blend in the line art, I suspect I'm going to get rid of the thorns. It's just giving me too much of a regal vibe. It feels like the wrong flavor. And then I'll trim this down a little bit. When we bond everything together, that's when I'm going to work on the hands again. Hey, timely timer. Looks like we got about 20 minutes left. And I guess on that note, let's go ahead and blend these together. So I'm going to drop that all down into what we'll call quote unquote color layer. Then here's our line art. I think we're going to drop the opacity on the line art just a little bit further. I'm going to take these two elements and then I'm going to duplicate that group. And then I'm going to merge that group down. Now it's a single layer. I'm going to start blending. Into be more of an etheric effect. And when we get to it, we'll work on those hands. But yeah, I think I want to. I like the thorns on the pauldrons. I think that's cool. I'm going to keep those. Here, let's grab that like that. There. What's up? Ain't nobody got time for hands. I'll make time for hands. Just when it's appropriate. At the appropriate time. Blend that in. And can sculpt these and refine them a little bit to clean them up. Yeah, we'll probably end up having a little time. I don't know if I'll get this finished today or not, honestly. I've got 20 minutes left with today's session. So I suspect we'll have just some little details left, and then we'll have time to start in on another piece tomorrow. Yeah, now that this is all bonded together, I can just kind of blend it down here. Grab. There, like that. And blend that down into here. What's up? Just phase them out. Yep. Yep, it's just gonna melt in. we did a good enough job defining each of the individual shapes inside of the silhouette that we can just trim and hem at it a little bit. It'll turn out okay. There, like that. Blend to win. We'll add in the eyes last. Yes. Up that a little bit. Just blend it in. There we go. Nice. I really like how that's looking. Like that. Run this down here like that. Yeah. Like that. There we go. I'm not talking very much anymore. I was yammering like hell just for a little bit there. Looks like I found a moment to pause and reflect. But we are almost out of time today. I'm going to be back tonight. I typically start design stream around 6:30 p.m. It's almost 8 o'clock here in Seattle. And that feels really good. I like that. Just define that edge a little bit better. There we go. Hey, what's up? Cheers, cheers. Just trying to make myself entertaining for the newcomers. Give them something to stick around for. And like that. I'll create this smoky effect. I like this. I like that. There we go. I like that. It looks really great. I can trim this down. So far, so good. Just basically just doing blending. Just blending it all in until it feels right. The muse will let you know. Well, if I do things right, then the people that stick around and the newcomers are on the same wavelength. That the newcomers that stick are the people that want to stick around. So I'm really catering to the stick around crowd and trying to present an opportunity for the newcomers to see why it is that they'd want to stick around. You know? I don't think I necessarily do a good job at it. I really need to probably start creating like actual content, like uploaded content instead of just live streaming. I love live streaming every day. It's a great way for me to make sure that I get the art done, that I hold myself accountable and make progress every day. Plus, doing artwork in the morning allows me to basically reward myself first before I go into my day job. So I like streaming regardless of what the audience might be. But at the same time, it's if what I do resonates with people, that's a point of pride. I also don't want to be beholden to people. Like I want to be able to. I don't care how long it takes for my audience to grow to whatever it's supposed to become, as long as I'm doing it the way that I want to do it, so that I can continue to be that way regardless of what the size, however large or small the channel is. I can treat it the same way. I don't have to change anything, that I'm not beholden upon anyone, that people are sticking around because they're just resonating with what it is that we're doing here. Without any, that this is what I'm doing is the thing. Like this is the end. I mean, obviously we're creating books and stuff, so that'll be cool. I feel like this hand needs to be extended out. I see text. Hold on. Yeah, exactly. Everyone. If I start creating uploaded content like scripted or defined topic content, I don't want to get a bunch of followers because they like that uploaded content, because if I stop that uploaded content, I run out of value for them. But I can keep doing artwork like this forever. With God's grace, I will. So this is more like the design stuff that we do on Mondays and Thursday nights like tonight. That's something that I always want to be able to do, and artwork like this in the mornings or on a casual day of whatever, I always want to be able to do this as well. Building books and painting them is just, it's so much fun. I love doing it. And I love that it fuels motivation for new types of campaigns, or running new D&D campaigns gives motivation to creating new books and experiences that will better gamify and make mechanics for the vibe of that game. Like if I were to do a horror genre game, I'd want to have horror mechanics built into it that creates mechanical consequences for the character. But I don't like the horror genre very much, so I don't bother. But I love the Dominion style of gameplay, so like let's make the Bastion thing. I love mecha, and I love giant kaiju, and I love tactical combat, so let's make the Spelljammer stuff, And then I get to paint all of it. That's super fun. Oh, I like that. This is looking really cool. I'm almost out of time today, and I think I might just work on the hands off screen just to finish them up. Because I suspect otherwise I'll be done with this today. We still have, 15? I got like 5 minutes left. Nah. I've got a little bit of work left to do. So maybe I'll work on that a little bit tonight. Maybe I'll hold off and just finish it up tomorrow before starting on another. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the muse wants me to do. She's got it all. She's got it all planned out. I just got to follow direction. I feel like I want to blend this in. I'm gonna hit save. I like this a lot. It's doing this job. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this maybe like a 7. It's good enough. It's just a token. It's an optional encounter on an optional map. So it's not critically important. Fun, but not critically important. So I don't have to murder myself on this illustration. Unnecessary. There we go. I mean, this hand's almost good enough. This hand, the lower hand needs fixing. But it's not like major surgery. God, that looks really cool. I'll still give it a 7. I like it though, so that's the important part. I'm gonna wisp this up by digging into here a little bit, breaking up that form, and bringing that in. Nice. Just got to get rid of the lines and the smoke. That's just not... It breaks the style, so you got to get rid of it. That's okay. I get it blended in and it creates these neat little cloud... I mean, this is just Bob Ross clouds. I'm just doing little circles and squiggles to break up the form, to create that billowiness of smoke. Ah, that's great. I love that. Maybe some red in the eyes to help make that pop and to complement the green background. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna fog that out a little bit, I think. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. What if there was a little crystal dust floating around inside the smoke effect? Ooh, neat. Particulates. I could potentially jive with that. Particulates. I like it. Great idea. It creates neat little like moth effects. Like if the smoke was fabric, these little pucks make it feel like it's being chewed up a little bit almost. Add some more down here. I love that. Neat little texture effect. Great idea. That's my timer. All right. Yeah, it helps break up it helps break it up a little bit. I like that. All right, I gotta turn that off. All right, it's time for me to kick out of here. Muse will let me go here in a second. I love that. I think this is great over here. This is just super fun. Chop, chop, chop. Almost there. Stay on target. She's going to let me go here in a second. I love that. That's so fun. All right. And thanks a lot for hanging out with you guys. Newcomers, thanks a lot for hanging out and checking out the stream. I really appreciate anyone that spends any time here with me at all, honestly. It's art is a very lonely business, which is why I decided to stream it, to hold myself accountable and to give me some sort of human interaction while putting in the hours required to be able to create the art. But yes, I am very, very happy with that. I'm going to fix this hand. It's pretty good, but it needs a little bit of fixing. I'll probably fix it off screen. And, oh yeah, I still need to add in the eyes. Maybe we'll just do some finishing touches tomorrow morning before we dive into the next piece. But we will definitely be working on the next piece tomorrow. Tonight, we're going to work on the Spelljammer Mecha Kaiju Bastion campaign. We're going to be adding in initial mecha modifications that can be selected for the characters to customize their mechas, as well as starting to build a preliminary list of kaiju that can attack the communities that the team is defending. XCOM